Welcome to my YouTube channel. To all of my returning subscribers, you guys are awesome. Thank you very much for your support. And if you are passing through for the first time, don't forget to like this video, hit the subscribe button, strike the bell notification so that you'll be the first to know anytime I drop any new stuff in this channel. Thank you very much as you do so. So welcome to this week's video. We're going to continue our discussion on data security. This time around, we are going to be looking at Microsoft Purview message encryption. We'll start generically by talking about what encryption is. We're going to look at symmetric versus asymmetric encryption. We'll then discuss encryption at rest and encryption in transit. We'll look at message encryption generically. And then we're going to be talking in depth about Microsoft Purview message encryption. And then we'll get into the lab environment. We're going to be demonstrating some things. We're going to be doing some configuration. This time around, we are not going to be doing much of the GUI. We are rather going to be using Microsoft PowerShell to be able to achieve the same things we could have been achieving within the GUI. So it promises to be a very interesting session. We're going to do a lot of configurations, and then we're going to test our configurations. So please stay and watch till the end. It promises to be an exciting and educative session. Thank you very much as you do so. In this week's video, we are going to be discussing message encryption from the point of view of Microsoft Purview. So let's get started. We're going to proceed as follows. We are going to be looking at what encryption is. We'll compare symmetric and asymmetric encryption. We'll look at encryption at rest versus encryption in transit. We'll talk about message encryption generally. And we'll see how Microsoft Purview implements message encryption. So let's get started. So what is encryption? Encryption is the art of protecting information by transforming it into an unreadable format. It is a cornerstone of modern cybersecurity. And this process, which involves algorithms and keys, serves as the bedrock for protecting our digital communication. Whether that communication is personal in nature, maybe a personal email, or a confidential document, or even a secure online transaction. Encryption ensures that our private conversations and communication stays private. Now, the journey of a message from sender to receiver is laden with potential vulnerabilities. Cyber threats are lurking at every corner, from hackers to surveillance, which is making encryption not just a luxury, but these days, it is a necessity. And by converting sensitive information into ciphertext, encryption acts as a digital fortress, shielding data from prying eyes. And only those that have the appropriate decryption keys can unlock the message, ensuring that the confidentiality is preserved. Now, the significance of encryption extends beyond just keeping secrets. It's about maintaining trust in our digital infrastructure. And so it underpins the security protocols of the internet, enabling things like e-commerce, online banking, and the exchange of information across the globe. And without encryption, the digital economy will be, well, a house of cards, vulnerable to the slightest breeze of cyber attacks. Now, the strength of encryption lies in the complexity of the algorithm which is used and the length of the key, making it a robust defense against cyber threats. And as technology evolves, so does the field of cryptography, continually enhancing the ways in which information can be protected in the digital age. So encryption not only helps in safeguarding personal and sensitive data, but it also plays a crucial role in national security, protecting state assets and communication channels. And with the increasing amounts of data being transmitted over the internet, encryption remains an indispensable tool for ensuring a secure and a trustworthy cyberspace. So now we are going to be looking at two types of encryption, in this case, symmetric and asymmetric encryption. So let's start with symmetric encryption. Now, symmetric encryption, also known as secret key encryption, involves a single key that must be shared between the sender and the receiver. Now, the key is used to encrypt and decrypt the data, making it essential that the key itself is kept secure. Now, the strength of symmetric encryption lies in its simplicity and speed, making it suitable for encrypting large volumes of data. However, the need to securely share the key between parties can be challenging, particularly over insecure channels. The data encryption standard, well, was one of the earliest implementations of symmetric algorithms, but due to its vulnerability to brute force attack, it has been largely replaced by better standards such as the AES or the Advanced Encryption Standard, which is now widely used and adopted for its strength and its efficiency. Asymmetric encryption, on the other hand, is also known as public key cryptography. It addresses the key distribution problem by using two keys: a public key, which can be shared openly, and a private key, which is kept secret by the owner. Now, the public key encrypts data, but only the corresponding private key can decrypt it. And this allows for secure communication even if the public key is widely distributed. Well, it is exemplified by the RSA algorithm, named after its inventors, Rivest, Shamir, and Adelman. RSA is widely used for secure data transmission and digital signatures, ensuring that only the intended recipient can decrypt the message and verify its origin. Now, this type of encryption is fundamental to many internet security protocols, such as SSL or secure socket layers, or TLS or transport layer security, which secures web transactions. Now, both symmetric and asymmetric encryption have their own unique advantages and are often used together to provide a more robust security solution. For example, asymmetric encryption can be used to securely exchange the key used for symmetric encryption, combining the efficiency of symmetric encryption with the secure key distribution of asymmetric encryption. There's another form of encryption called hashing, which is a form of encryption that converts data into a fixed sized hash value, which acts as a digital fingerprint. Now, unlike the previous two, hashing is a one-way function that does not allow for the reverse process, that is, decryption. It is commonly used for storing passwords securely, even if the hash value is compromised. So the original data, even if the hash value is compromised, the original data cannot be retrieved. So the SHA, or the secure hashing algorithm family, which includes the SHA 256, is amongst the most prevalent hashing algorithms, providing robust security for various applications. And each of these algorithms serve different purposes and offers various levels of security and performance. And they are the backbone of modern cryptography, ensuring confidentiality, integrity, and of course, authenticity of the information in an increasingly digital world. Now we move on to looking at other types of encryption. This time around, we are going to be looking at encryption at rest and encryption in transit. Now, encryption at rest and encryption in transit are two fundamental security measures that are used to protect data, each of them applicable in different states of the data lifecycle. Encryption at rest is focused on securing data that is stored on a device or in the cloud, ensuring that it remains inaccessible to unauthorized users even if they gain physical access to the storage medium. Now, this type of encryption is crucial because stored data often contains sensitive information that could be a prime target for theft or unauthorized access. On the other hand, encryption in transit is concerned with protecting data as it moves across networks, such as during an internet transaction or when data is transferred from one location to another. Now, this is important because data can be intercepted during transmission, making it vulnerable to eavesdropping or tampering. And both types of encryption use algorithms also to convert readable text into scrambled, unreadable format, which can only also be decrypted with the appropriate key. But these methods and protocols are used, of course, can significantly vary between data at rest and data in transit. For example, data at rest can be encrypted using full disk encryption methods like the BitLocker drive encryption, which while data in transit is often secured using protocols like TLS, transport layer security, or SSL, secure socket layer, like we mentioned in the previous slide. Moreover, the approach to key management and the encryption process can differ also. While data at rest, with data at rest, the encryption keys are typically managed within the secure confines of the organization, and access to the key is tightly controlled. In contrast, keys for encrypting data in transit may need to be exchanged between the sender and the receiver, which introduces additional challenges and necessities, of course, that will require robust key exchange protocols. Now, it's also important to note that while both types of encryption aim to secure data, they are complementary and they are part of a broader data security strategy. Organizations would often employ both encryption at rest and encryption in transit to provide comprehensive protections throughout the data lifecycle. So, this dual approach ensures that sensitive information is safeguarded at times and at all times, whether it is being actively used or it is stored or even being moved. So that takes us to the next the next item on our agenda, where we are going to be looking at message encryption. Now, emails have become an indispensable tool in the modern business world, serving as the backbone for communication within organizations. Now, it is convenient, and of course, it has a lot of speed, and that facilitates the exchange of a wide array of sensitive information, which can range from financial data to legal contracts or even confidential product details and personal health records. However, the resilience or the reliance on emails represents significant security risks, particularly in the form of information leakage, which can have dire consequences for organizations' integrity and reputation. So, to mitigate this risk, message encryption emerges as an important security measure because it acts as as a protective barrier, ensuring that sensitive information remains confidential and inaccessible to unauthorized individuals. And by encrypting email messages, organizations can safeguard their data across various platforms, including extending this to popular email platforms like Outlook.com. Now, this encryption is not limited by the boundaries of the organization, extending to communications with external parties, thereby maintaining privacy and security in a comprehensive manner. And the process of message encryption involves transforming readable data into an encoded format that can only be deciphered by somebody possessing the correct decryption key. So typically, this decryption key is going to be possessed by the message recipient. Now, this ensures that even if the email were to be intercepted by an unintended party, the content will remain unintelligible and secure. And the implementation of message encryption is a proactive step towards fortifying the organization's cybersecurity posture, demonstrating a commitment to protecting not only the organization's assets, but also the privacy of customers and their employees. So let's see how Microsoft Purview implements message encryption. Now, Microsoft Purview message encryption is a security service designed to enhance the protection of email communications. It's built on the reliable foundation of Azure Rights Management, which is a component of Azure Information Protection, and it offers a comprehensive suite of encryption, identity, and authorization policies. And these policies are important in safeguarding sensitive information transmitted via emails. And users have the flexibility to apply various levels of protection to their messages, including rights management templates that dictate who can access the content and what actions they can perform with the content. Additionally, we have things like do not forward options, which restricts recipients from forwarding emails, ensuring that only intended parties can view the message. We also have the encrypt only option that provides a layer of security by encrypting the content, which can be particularly useful for maintaining the confidentiality of the message content. Now, this service is part of a broader commitment to data secrecy and privacy, reflecting the evolving landscape of digital communications and the increasing need for robust security measures. So, by leveraging such encryption services, organizations can significantly reduce the risk of data breaches and unauthorized access to sensitive information, fostering a secure and compliant communications environment. And Microsoft Purview Advanced Message Encryption, of course, is also a feature within Microsoft 365 that offers organizations the ability to secure their email communications in a highly customizable and corrective manner, allowing for the creation of multiple branding templates, providing a tailored experience for recipients, and supporting a diverse organizational structure. It is particularly useful for meeting various compliance obligations because it grants administrators flexible control over external recipients' access to encrypted messages. Now, the encryption service works by enabling automatic policies that can detect sensitive information types such as personally identifiable information, financial details, health IDs, as well as specific keywords. And this is going to be ensuring that emails containing sensitive data are automatically protected with enhanced encryption. Also, the access to these encrypted emails can be set to expire after a certain period of time, ensuring that the information does not remain accessible indefinitely. And then administrators have the power to be able to revoke access to any email at any time, which is accessed through a secure web portal, adding an extra layer of security and control. So this feature is particularly useful when dealing with sensitive information that requires strict access controls and strict monitoring. And the ability to revoke access is a very critical tool in preventing unauthorized access and maintaining the integrity of sensitive data. Overall, Microsoft Purview Advanced Message Encryption provides a comprehensive solution for ensuring email communications, ensuring that sensitive information remains protected, while also offering a customizable and a user-friendly experience for both administrators and recipients. So this shows Microsoft's commitment to providing advanced security features that cater to the intricate needs of modern organization structures and compliance requirements. So in the next part of the video, we are going to be diving into the portal, and we're going to be showing how we can configure some of these settings as it concerns Microsoft Purview message encryption. So stay with us while we do so. Okay, so we are in the console right now, and we want to begin to set up Purview message encryption. But before we do that, there are a number of prerequisites. And some of the prerequisites includes, of course, having the appropriate license. Here we have the license we've got is Microsoft 365 E5 license. And then you also want to be signed in with the appropriate credentials. I'm currently signed in as the global administrator, but what you would require at the minimum is to be signed in as the compliance administrator to be able to do what we are going to do now. Now, the next thing you want to know is that Microsoft Purview Message Encryption leverages the protection features available in Azure Rights Management Services. Azure Rights Management Service is the technology that is used by Azure Information Protection in order to protect emails and documents through encryption and access controls. Now, the only actual prerequisite for using Microsoft Purview message encryption is that Azure Rights Management needs to be activated within your organization's tenant. And if that is the case, Microsoft 365 will activate message encryption automatically, and there's really not much you can do. But of course, we want to be sure that that is the case for our tenant. So we are going to be doing that by running a few scripts. Now, the first script we want to run here is to actually install the Exchange Online Management PowerShell module. And to do that, you need to be in an elevated PowerShell prompt, which if you look at the title bar within this window here, you're going to see that that is the case. And after, if that is the case, the next thing we want to do is we want to go ahead and install, and run the following script, such as the script here. We want to install Exchange Online module. So I'll go ahead and run the script, and it goes on to install the Exchange Online module for us. Usually this takes some time, and we are going to just give it time to do its thing. So it now prompts us, of course, it tells us to confirm the NuGet provider, and I want to go ahead and type on Y to confirm. Of course, it tells me this is an untrusted repository. I want to go ahead and say yes to all by selecting the A option. And then it goes on to install my Exchange Online. And then this has been done because it takes us back to the prompt. I want to go ahead and clear the screen so that subsequent commands you'll see them clearly. So what I want to do next is I want to go ahead and set the execution policy. I want to change the scope, specify the scope parameter, and of course, in this case, I want to ensure that the execution policy is remote signed, and then of course the scope is the current user. So I want to go ahead and sorry, I ran that twice, so I'll just clear this and rerun it again. Okay, so current user. It prompts me again, execution policy change. I say yes, I want to change the execution policy. And that is what has just happened right there. So the next thing I want to do now, before I actually go ahead and check or verify that Azure Rights Management is active, is I want to connect to Exchange Online using my PowerShell commandlet. So I'll go ahead and again, I want to connect to Exchange Online by issuing that command there. So if all things go well, it should prompt me with a login screen. Yeah, which is exactly what it does. So I want to go in and sign in with my credentials. I'll go ahead and click on next. And then I want to go ahead and put in my password. And then, of course, I click on next again. And again, I have multi-factor authentication enabled, which is strongly advised. So I want to go now and open the appropriate app on my device and then go and make the approval. So I'll go ahead and do just that. It prompts me to enter the number there. I'll go ahead and enter the number. And we see that my sign-in process is now complete. All right, so that we can see here that everything is done. So the next thing I want to do now is I want to verify that Azure Rights Management Services is installed. So I want to go ahead and issue another command there. I'm basically saying you should get IRM configuration. I'm piping it. I'm saying that it should format it as a list. That's what this FL stands for. And then, of course, let's see how it proceeds to give us the details. So it tells us now we can see it gives it as a list. Azure Rights Management licensing enabled. It gives us the option that that is true. So that means that Azure Rights Management is enabled. So while that is the case, we want to also, well, test it to see what kind of results we are going to get. So I go ahead and I'll just clear the screen again so you can see what I'm doing clearly. I'll just go ahead and clear the screen and let's now run this command. Let's see. We are testing the IRM configuration between a sender, Megan Bowen, and let's see how that goes to be sure that everything we are doing is going to work and not give us any unexpected results. So let's just go ahead and check that. So we see that it tells us that everything we've done is passed. It tells us that we have the templates. We can see that in the first line there. It tells us encryption verified successfully, decryption for recipient pass, decryption verified successfully, verifying IRM is enabled, IRM is verified successfully. So it gives us an overall result of pass. So we are right now good to go to begin to get into the other aspects of our configuration. So let's do that next. So we have verified the functionality of RMS within our environment. The next thing we want to do is we want to see how to modify the default branding template. And that is because we want to restrict trust for foreign identity providers, providers such as Google and Facebook. And the reason that is so is because social identities are activated by default for accessing messages protected with message encryption. So we want to go ahead and deactivate the use of social IDs for every single user within the organization. We are still in Exchange. Sorry, yeah, we are still in Windows PowerShell, logged into Exchange Online through the PowerShell module. And then we want to go ahead and run the appropriate command. So I'll go ahead and run this command here, which is the get OEM configuration. Of course, we want to specify the identity parameter, and of course, we want to pipe it and format the result as a list. So let's see how what result that is going to give us. So I'll run that. And we can look at the settings here. We see the template name. We see that OTP enabled is true. Social ID sign in, we can see that means the setting, which is this one here, is currently set to true. So what we want to do is, as per our configuration, to enable some more secure functionality within an environment, we want to go ahead and turn social ID signing. We want to go ahead and turn it off. I'll go ahead and clear the screen so we can see what we want to do. Then I want to just run the commandlet. We can see here that with the parameter of social ID signing, we want to turn it off by specifying false for that setting. So I'll go ahead and enter that. It prompts me with a confirmation message. I want to go ahead and confirm that. And then we can see here that it runs. So I'll go back and check, and let's see if the setting has been effected. So we can see right now that the social ID signing is currently turned off. So that means that our setting has worked. So we turned off restriction for foreign identity providers such as Google. That is because these social IDs are activated by default for accessing messages that are protected with encryption, and we deactivated them in the last part of this video. So we want to go ahead and go and test and see if what we did worked. So what I want to do is simple. I'll go ahead and create an email. I'm going to address one email to my Google account. And then I'll go ahead and address the second email, the same email actually, to my Outlook, to another Outlook account. So the aim of doing that is to test and see if encryption is going to be implemented for the Google, and of course to see what will happen in the case of the Outlook account. So I'll just go ahead and call this a secret message as the subject. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some content. Okay, I'll just copy this and paste it multiple times just to simulate that I'm sending an email. So I just do a paste multiple times, and then I want to go ahead and encrypt this message. So to encrypt this message, I'll just go to options. I'll go to more options, and I'll just click here to encrypt the message. Now note that it might prompt you to install some plugins for mine that will allow you to encrypt this message if you're accessing your mailbox from a browser. Just take note in case you want to try this later. It might prompt you to do that, so you just have to go ahead and do that, and that's all it takes. So I've done that. I'll go ahead and click on OK, and I've encrypted the message. I'll go ahead and click on send. It tells me blah blah blah, valid certificates were not found for the recipient. If you encrypt the message, this recipient won't be able to read it, blah blah blah. I'll go ahead and say okay, I want to go ahead and continue. So it sends the message. Now the next thing I want to do is I'm going to go and test for some of my email for my email account, for the other one, which is Google, which by the way is already open. So I'll go ahead and click on that, and we can see that the message has arrived. It tells me a secret message. So I'll go ahead and open the message, and let's see. It tells me the message could not be encrypted because the digital signature is missing. So at least for the Google account, because of the encryption, I am unable to access the message. So we also have a requirement here to create custom branding templates. In this case, we want protected messages that is sent by our organization to have some special branding. And this special branding, we want it to include some customized introductions and body text, and also to include a disclaimer that is available in the footer area as a link. So the messages we also want to expire after 7 days. So we're going to be creating a new OME configuration. And we're also going to be creating a transport rule to be able to apply this configuration to mails that are sent from our organization. So we are still in PowerShell. We are still signed in to Exchange Online. So I want to go ahead and run the specific command. In this case, of course, we are specifying a new OEM configuration for the finance department, and of course, want to specify the external mail expiration parameter to be 7 days. We can see here we have the option here: expire mail, external mail expiry in days. We are specifying it to be 7 days. So let's go ahead and run this, and let's see what results we are going to get. So it asks us, are we sure we want to confirm that I want to perform this action? It gives us all of the details and all of that. Yes, I want to say I want to go ahead and do this. So I'll go ahead and click on A, and it's going to do its thing, and it will go ahead and it now gives me the details. We've created a template. It's called the finance department, and all of the details right there. So we've confirmed it, and that is now in effect. So we want to also go ahead and change the introductory text message. I will be setting, we'll be running the set OME configuration. We'll specify the identity parameter for finance department. We want to specify an introductory text, and that's the introductory text there in quote from Contoso Limited. Finance department has sent you a secure message. So I'll go ahead and apply this as well. And it prompts me again. I want to go ahead and accept everything. And it goes ahead to, it does its thing. So I want to clear the screen again. So we'll see what we are going to be doing next. So again, I want to now change the body email text of the message with the following set of commandlets. I want to go ahead and specify the set OME configuration with the identity parameter for finance department. The email text is encrypted messages sent from Contoso Limited Finance Department. Handle the message responsibly. So basically, it's giving us a kind of disclaimer there. So I'll go ahead and sorry, I think I just ran that the second time. I'll go ahead and clear this, and Once I'm done clearing this, I'll go ahead and run it. Okay, so I'll put the close parentheses there, and I'll go ahead and also accept everything. And it tells me, yep, that it accepts everything. And so I want to now change the disclaimer URI to point to the privacy statement. Again, yet another commandlet I want to run. Okay, so it points to the Contoso privacy statement.html URL here, where the disclaimer URL is, where the disclaimer actually is. So I want to go ahead and accept this by entering. And once I enter, again, it prompts me again. I accept everything and I click on OK. And of course, it's done. I want to clear the screen again so we can see what I want to do next. Now, so I want to use a commandlet here to create a mail flow rule. And this mail flow rule is going to be applying to custom OME templates. It's going to apply that to all of the messages that I sent from the finance team. Of course, this particular one could take some time to complete because it is a transport rule. But of course, there's also the option to create the transport rule manually from within the Exchange management console. But this time around, this is the option to create a transport rule. New transport rule, that's the name of the transport rule. From scope in organization, from member, finance team, apply rights protection, customization template. That's the customization template there. And then, of course, apply rights protection template with the option to encrypt. So I'll go ahead and enter. Like I said, this particular script may take some time. Okay, it's done now. So it gives us all of the details. It gives us the name, the state, the mode, the priority, and all of that. So we're going to run just one last one to verify the changes. So I'm going to run one more commandlet that's going to verify the changes. So it's telling us to get OME configuration with the identity parameter, and it's piping that command to format it as a list. So let's go ahead and see what our results will be like. So it gives us the details here. We can see the template name, the image URL, the email text, and all of the details right here. So it gives us everything that we've done, and it formats it nicely as a list here. So in the next part of the video, we're going to be testing the custom branding template. So stay tuned. So now we have implemented our custom branding template. Now we want to go ahead and validate our new configuration. We want to use one of the accounts which we were using to test in the previous parts of the video to do the testing. So we are signed into Outlook, and we are signed in as the test user that we want to use. Now we want to go ahead and create a new email. So I'll go ahead and hit on a new email. I'll send the email again to my personal email address here, and I want to just test the message. So I'll just call it finance template test, for example. So I'll just call this this is an email to test the custom branding template. And like before, I'll just copy this and paste it multiple times. So I'll just go ahead and paste multiple times like that. So that's all I'll take. I'll just go ahead and hit on send. Once I hit on send, I'm going to go back to my my Gmail account and see what it's going to look like. So I'll go ahead and hit on send, and the message is sent. So I'll go to my Gmail account and see what the message looks like. So we are now in my personal email. So we can see here that the message has arrived. So I'll go ahead and click on the message to open it. So we can see the message here. It tells us that Lynn Robbins from Contoso Limited finance department has sent me a message. It gives me the padlock icon telling me that the message is encrypted. It tells me the access to the message will expire exactly in 7 days from today. Today, from the date we can see here that this is 28. So it tells me that the message will, based on our settings, is going to expire in 7 days. And of course, it tells me encrypted messages sent from Contoso department. I can handle this. Of course, give me the disclaimer. It gives me a link to the privacy statement that, of course, and then, of course, it tells me to learn more. So we see that all of our configurations, we've tested it and it works, and everything looks as we expect. So thank you very much for staying up to the end of the video. I'm going to drop all of my descriptions in the comment and all the appropriate links. So thank you very much. And of course, see you in the next one.